Man, I've got no idea how it feels to be a mixed martial artist, to go 5 rounds in absolute war. These dudes are gladiators. I can't imagine how they feel after some of those matches. I don't even feel like how they train. I mean, these dudes are legit, proper athletes, gladiators, warriors. I'm sitting here right now and my body is so beat up. So I was sore yesterday and I trained. I was sore from the rack pull, so my whole freaking back, traps, lats, erectors, everything was sore. Traps specifically today, my God, man. And then yesterday I worked out. I didn't think I pushed that hard, but I ended up doing that 180 kilos for 3. And now I've got pain in my glutes like crazy. I can barely sit here and do this video. But I'm in agony, literally. My hands are hurting as well, like my forearms. Yesterday I said to you guys my ribs were hurting. Well, my ribs are hurting more today, and also kind of like that, I don't know what it's called, like the lower abs, kind of right where the crease is between the abs and the pelvis. Right there it hurts, like everything, my whole organism is like on fire right now. Really, really uncomfortable. Rocked up to the gym today and I said to the cameraman, I don't even know what I'm doing here, man. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So I took like a good 10-15 minutes just to warm up. I kept like holding the bar this way, that way, front squat, back squat, sit in the hole this way, sit in the hole that way, trying to release the glutes, that kind of tie-in area between the hamstring and the glutes. I felt like I was getting a whole lot of butt wink. I just couldn't get into a proper position. And then I thought to myself, I need to get some blood into my posterior chain. And then I kind of thought, let's do some front squats. Now, it's not the first thing that you think about, the front squats, posterior chain. You usually think anterior chain. But in order for you to stay upright, you got to contract the hell out of your posterior chain. I'm talking about from your neck all the way down. And so I started kind of messing around with more front squats than back squats, kind of when I was warming up. And so I ended up taking the front squats all the way to 140 for 1. And I kept kind of sticking my chin up. It was really kind of painful to do that because like when you do that, your kind of traps kind of contract in a way. I don't know what happens, but sticking your neck up, extending your neck does something to the whole trap region, especially when you got the bar. So I kept doing that. And then eventually I ended up going to 140 times 1, and then I shaved the bar back to 0 from the bar again, started working with back squats, and I kept kind of, sending my chin up. Looking up, like exaggerating looking up. And I'm having a conversation with my cameraman, in between sets about all this, and he's been telling me for months on end, stick your chin up, do what Klokov does and Lou. Like, he was saying, when I see those Chinese boys, lift and girls, they look up and they open their mouth. I've seen people talk about, shoving your tongue to the roof of your mouth, kind of to prepare your core and all sorts of things. I've never put that into practice. So I thought, okay, let's really exaggerate, even in the back squat, sending my chin up. And today I went up to 180 kilos. I didn't have the strength to do 200, no way. I was actually surprised that I hit 180, but there's something about looking up. One of you guys said in the comments that, if you look down, you're probably going to round over. If you look up, you're probably not going to round over. Our heads are quite heavy. I don't know how heavy our skull is. I feel like I want to say 7 kilos. I don't know if that's too much or too little. Your head's pretty heavy, man. I don't know where I got the 7 kilos from, but I'm thinking about 7 for whatever reason. So if you have 7 kilos at the end of a long stick, let's say our spine, that 7 kilo ends up producing a lot more force than 7 kilos. Let's just say it's 7 kilos. So it's the whole moment arm, lever arm kind of physics 101 idea. But if you kind of send your neck back, if you extend your neck and you shove some of that weight, that 7 kilos a bit back, all of a sudden your center of mass changes, because that head at the end of that stick is not so long anymore. The lever is not so long, and so it becomes easier. That's certainly how it felt today, to stay more upright. I was kind of in the constant communication with the cameraman. I'm like, man, it feels really weird not to see the floor when you squat. It's one of those things that I've kind of always. By the way, these are the fellas. These fellas were in a video probably a few weeks ago. I saw them again. Really cool to catch up with those dudes. They're both looking jacked. Look how massive they are. Freaking bodybuilders. They all look massive. So anyway, I've never been used to kind of squatting with my eyes up into the sky and not seeing the floor. Like I kind of felt like I'm going to lose my balance, as silly as that sounds, but it didn't feel kind of secure. And the other thing was, like, I kept looking at the video, the replay, if you will, to see how quick the bar was going, because when I'm looking up, I can't actually judge how quickly I'm going up. So that sticking portion kind of middle of the lift, I'm like, I don't even know, like, am I moving or what's going on? Like, it's almost like I need a new reference of something to look at to actually see if I'm actually moving or not. All I know is I'm pushing. I'm pushing, but is the bar, am I stuck or what? For some reason, I always kind of looked at the floor and the distance between, I guess, my eyes and the floor. I'm like, okay, this is going pretty good or pretty bad or whatever the case might be. So, but looking up, it's kind of like, I don't know, it just feels weird. Anyway, it's probably just the fact that I'm not used to it. But certainly, if you look at all the weightlifters, they always seem to kind of be, shoving their chin up into the air, kind of maybe to kind of create that effect, what I was kind of explaining before about the head at the end of the stick, kind of shoving that skull back of the bar a little bit, so there's less weight in front of the bar, if you will. So anyway, that's kind of what I did today. I literally, I did front squats, back squats, and I kind of looked around thinking about, what do I do now? I'm thinking to myself, man, everything literally hurts. I'm running out of limbs. I'm running out of muscles to train anymore. I think I just need to go home and rest. And then the conversation was, why did I get myself into this? Why am I sore all over? I kind of mentioned the fact that whenever I do posterior chain exercises, I get taxed more. But when you do posterior chain exercises after a little break of not doing them, and you push them to a max rep, 250 that I did the other day from the rack pull, and then you back up with 3 sets of 3, now you're really causing a lot of damage, a lot of metabolic stress to those tissues. And so you need to repair that. You know what I mean? You can't keep doing that and not repair. When you're squatting up to a 1 rep max every single day, or say 95% rep max, and there's no back off sets, you just pick up and go home. That's cool. You can do that again. But when you start doing back off sets, you start really taxing the system, and you start kind of requiring more days off or more recovery. So that's kind of what I've done in the last few days. I've kind of overreached. I guess I can use that term now. I've overreached, and that for every point that you overreach, you're going to have to recover from. So to a certain degree, you need overreaching to progress. But if you do too much of it, then you need to deload. And so during that deload, you're not really progressing. You're recuperating all the stress, all the work that you've done. So you're kind of cashing in during a deload. So I guess that the trick with training in my mind is to not overreach too far, so you cause too much damage and then you have too much time off, because there's a whole bunch of decay that happens when you stay away from the bar for too long. This is why high frequency training makes a lot of sense to me. Your nerves like to get reintroduced to exercises quite frequently. Your muscle tissue gets damaged, and so they need a lot more time to recover. That's kind of how I think about this. So there's like a perfect dose of stress that your body needs to kind of go forward, and it's sometimes very, very hard to get. Obviously, I went to the rack pool after several days off, probably not off, but from training hard. And so I had all this energy in me. I wanted to train. I trained hard. I probably overreached too far, and I'm kind of paying for it now. So check out this. I don't know, if you guys can see how much I'm shoving my chin into the air and rolling my head backwards. But certainly I feel like the squat looks more upright when I do this. It feels weird as all hell for me. See, this is how I want to squat, with the head kind of in that position. And check out what I did there. All the way back. I feel like my squat is more upright when I've done this. I don't know what you guys think about this, but certainly now when I look at the footage, it feels like my back is more upright. And anyway, that could be just me. Maybe it's not. But certainly I am a broken man right now. I don't know. I mean, all I do is fight with a barbell. That's the extent of my kind of fight. But these dudes in rings that are getting punched, bloody hell, man. Like, it's one to have like sore limbs and back and whatever, but imagine getting punched in the head, man. Waking up with nausea and headaches and all that, man. These fighters, man, these guys are another breed, man. You either need to have a screw loose or two, or you need to be just a different kind of driven human being to want to go to war every single day. Obviously, they don't train like that. They don't beat themselves up silly every single day. But the soreness that I'm feeling right now, I literally feel like I've been in a fight. Literally, my traps, my entire lats hurt. My whole erectors hurt. And from bench press yesterday, my chest is hurting. I feel my triceps, my biceps hurt a little bit, kind of like, not the whole thing, just kind of like right up into the armpit. That kind of hurts. And also my glutes now. So I'm literally a broken man. I had a few goes at 180 today because I was just trying to practice this position. Probably shouldn't have done it because I'm sore. But I just really wanted to kind of play with this whole idea. So then I think I did 2 or 3 sets of 180 singles. And I thought, man, I can't be doing this much longer, man. I'm freaking sore. I don't want to do this anymore. So shaved off another plate, did 140 for a set of 5. And I was really trying to exaggerate the hell out of this kind of tilting my head backwards. And my cameraman agrees. He reckons that the squat looks a lot better when I look up. I'm much more vertical. I'm much more kind of in a better position, if you will. Seems more fluid. I'll be interested to see what you guys have to say about this as well. I know a lot of people talk about kind of looking at a 45-degree, kind of like maybe 2 or 3 meters ahead of you on the ground. You pick a spot on the ground and you do that. But I feel like if you do that, you're encouraging more of torso lean, more posterior chain involvement. If you look up as far as freaking, like, look straight above you, if you can manage to do that, then I feel like you're introducing more anterior chain. Anyway, something to think about. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a 4:30 in the morning session, so it's going to be a really, really early one. So let's see if I can. If I'm sore like this tomorrow, it's going to be a struggle. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.